All right, what's up, everybody? Sports Marks, and we're presenting our new podcast, first episode. We call it the Nosebleeds Section. It's all about football, football news, sports, rumors, draft, free agency, everything you can think of. Um, this is our first episode. We named it Nosebleed Section because we feel like that's where the real fans are. You think whether the weather's bad or good, whether your team is good or bad, no matter what time of year, you feel like those people that are up there, rain or shine, are in the nosebleed section. They don't have the best seats. They don't, come out just because their team's doing good. They have superstars. They're there through the bad and through the good, and that's what we all believe we are. So, without that, with that, we're gonna hop into it. And the first thing we're gonna talk about is the AAF, and unfortunately, it folded. And we just want to go around and introduce everybody and just get the take on it. So, if anybody wants to start it off, yeah, what do you
Um,
think?
I'm Abood Abdallah. I'm from South Florida. Um, and yeah, man, honestly, it comes as a surprise and it's really unfortunate, especially when you think of the potential that it could have had long term. And I know from the beginning they had issues as far as finances and worrying about how they were going to pay players and different tactics they could use to save money. So I know that this was probably an issue that they probably saw coming up, but just to hear how short lived it was, I don't know, man. It's definitely disappointing to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
I don't know. I loved it personally. I loved it. I don't know, Drake, anything that you thought about it? Did you catch any games?
Yeah. I got to catch a couple games. Yeah, I'm Dre. I'm from West Orange, New Jersey. Yeah, but I I caught a couple games, and just the fact that it's more football, I enjoyed that. Just the fact that they tried to do what a lot of fans have been asking for: stop acting all sissy on the hits and stuff like that, and a lot of transparency when it came to the referees. It had a lot of potential, but I think they probably moved on it too fast because
Yeah,
like I didn't hear about it until, they're like 3 weeks into it. You only got so many teams and, you know, you only got so much money. So, like, I really think that they just did it way too early. They should have planned it more, got some more money, got some more people behind them, something. I don't know.
yeah. I hear you on that too. Kuz, what do you think?
I think they were onto something here. Like you guys said, I wish it was more thought of and more planned out, better organized. But I definitely think like this will work out in the future with more organization from everybody involved, and make sure you got your finances ready for at least 2 or 3 years worth of seasons before you go and start it. Me personally.
Exactly. Exactly. You shouldn't be going out with one season under your belt. Like that should never be a possibility if you're trying to
Yeah,
start a
I,
sports
I'm.
entire league.
It's like starting a business, man. You got to be ready to eat shit for a few years, and you got to have the money stashed away so that you can eat shit for a few years
Yep.
until it starts to turn. Which, like I said, I think everybody was loving it. It just brought back like just good old fashioned football.
Yeah, man. I
One of
mean,
the things
shoot.
that really I had an issue with is that there was a report that came out that the majority investor of the AAF who contributed or he guaranteed a contribution of $250 million, I think it was, contributed the initial 70 and still had the obligation of the other 180. But reports came out that he was using this as leverage to develop a gambling app, and now it just kind of seems coincidental that as he now has the technology to develop this gambling app, he's kind of okay with folding on a $70 million investment. So, and like I said, man, there's a lot of people's, these were some guys' opportunities, some undrafted college players that probably if this worked to its full potential could have got them a practice squad spot or could have gotten them at least to be a training camp body, get in the door to see what they could do. So, like Kuz said, definitely it's like a business. It's and you have to be prepared for whatever shortcomings can happen, especially within the first couple of years. You're not supposed to be profitable within the first year. So that idea of thinking that you can shell out, especially something like $70 million, and think that you're going to recoup that within the first season, it's a little unreasonable, especially when it's almost experimental at this point. But it's too coincidental for me that just as he was now coming to get this new technology for this app, that he's just okay with folding on this investment.
Yeah, man. You know what's crazy? I really just remembered the LFL, Lingerie Football League.
That
You
was a
know
league.
that was a league, and it was profitable. It was on
Yeah, I
TV,
remember that. I saw
and
that.
I don't think they stopped. I think they're still playing. It's just not televised as much. You know, if they did stop, it was in the past couple years. So I mean, like, if you could make that profitable, this was actual. You know, like actual football. You know,
Yeah,
with actual
Honestly,
hits. Like,
honestly, some of those females in that league played harder than any dudes I've seen. Cause
yes,
yeah, they were
Facts.
yes.
hitting. I mean,
like
they
they
were
were
I
hitting.
savages.
I have an admission to make. There was one running back for the Philadelphia team. I forgot her name. I forgot the name of the team too. But damn, um, this is when I first got into graphic design. I made like some type of picture. I did some editing for her or whatever. Sent it to her. She was like, "Oh my god, I love it." I'm like, "Oh shit!" She spoke to me.
maybe, maybe through this y'all could reconnect.
Yeah, pretty dope. Uh,
Nah.
oh man,
Because yeah.
But what do
me
you think,
personally,
Joe?
like that's a great story. But me personally, I mean, I loved it. You know, I love the AAF. I tried to catch every game possible. Like I had my days where I missed a couple games because just different things. I mean, like right now, coaching baseball is just I, I'm not around a lot. But like every time I had a chance to sit down and watch, even like late night, I would watch replays of them, and I literally would like take notes of a lot of the players. Like I have a notebook or now that I have a tablet, I have documents and notes that I would take down of certain players' names, and I would go back and watch college film, and I'd watch them in there, and I'd really study these people because like you know I've been reading a lot of things like on between Twitter and Bleacher Report and just different articles. I find that like some of these people, even if it's only like 8 games played in that league, just off those 8 games, you got GMs and scouts and execs and coaches and stuff already saying like, you can see this kid playing next year. This kid's gonna get a trial in the NFL. This kid's gonna get an invite here and everything. And even me and Kuz were sitting here watching the game before, and remember Kuz, we were talking about that one quarterback, Luis Perez from Birmingham Iron, and we were both saying like, yo, I'd give him a training camp invite at least,
For
see what he
sure.
can do. Like, and that
Kid,
was what games into the season.
kid was a
Yeah.
You know?
slinger.
I mean, and that's what it
Yeah.
is. I mean, like, because even when the commissioner spoke about it, he said that more football. The fact that people want more football is good. You know, the like
Yeah.
there's every practice squad stays packed. Everybody there's a lot of people who still are looking to play football for a living. So as long as there's
Yeah.
people out there who want to do that, there's going to be people to fill their rosters. You know, and
Yeah.
they just need to make sure that they get it to the point where a lot of people can watch it. Make it available to everybody.
Yeah.
Netflix, Hulu, somebody will do a deal. Just give them the whole season just to get it going. Like there's something they could do. Hopefully they aren't done for good.
Well, I
The
mean,
thing,
this is like this. I like Abu said earlier. It's experimental, so maybe like they take this, learn from it, and run with it, like in full force when they come back with it. So technically, it's a good lesson to learn. Hey, we got a jump start on this thing. Maybe too early. We didn't plan it out as well as we should have, but now we learn. We can take the next steps and moving forward.
the
Yeah.
thing that my personal thing, and when it comes to me, I always look at the NBA and their structure of how they kind of are for the players. It's the most for the player league that I can think of, and this kind of felt
Definitely.
like more of an opportunity for players. I'm not naive either. I know obviously this was a chance to be very profitable, but if you look at the NBA, they kind of have the G League where some players they're at a higher caliber than just playing college ball or playing overseas, but they're not quite there yet. They're not pro ready for the big time, and to have a G League or something similar for the NFL, I felt like would have been great because there are so many guys who get cut from 5 or 6 NFL teams back to back years, and it's like give them a place where they can go and hone in on their skills and kind of come back out of it, and now they're ready to contribute. Now they know what's expected of them. They've kind of been put through like a minimal version of the ringer, and
Mhm.
it's that would have been, I feel like it's dope. And me personally, I hope, like you guys said, somebody who has the financial backing and kind of has the vision is able to kind of take control of it and get whoever is in charge now out of it, because sometimes you got to separate. It's a great idea and it's great that you started it and it's great that you thought you had the vision, but the execution was poor. So just hand it off to somebody who actually wants to see this thing through and actually has, most importantly, the financial backing to make sure that we're able to give at least 8 games before we're talking about shutting the season down or something like that. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Addition
Yeah.
by
I mean,
subtraction.
exactly.
the main thing I saw was like they were trying to beat the XFL. You know, that was the main thing. That was the reason that they were, even like that's the reason they were even, I'd say, like trying to rush their product out. They were trying to just rush. They're trying to beat the XFL, and I mean that's not how you do it. You
And,
gotta take your time and figure it out.
and you know what? XFL ran into the same problem when they came out, and look
Yeah,
how long it's taken them to get back in the game. So
yeah,
I
for
bet you
real.
this time around, Vincent Mann is gonna make sure that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna have
It's
X
time.
amount of money. We're gonna get through X amount of seasons. If we can't turn it around then we'll be done with it.
Exactly. That's why it's been in the works. Like Vince McMahon has picked this up and put it back in the works for a good couple years now, and
Yeah,
still has not started a season yet. He's got to be careful with it. It's a big investment. It's a lot of money on the table. But sure. You tell me I could own a football team, I might look into it. Like
Mm,
Facts.
for
it's
sure.
Facts.
like that's all you need. All you need is more people to buy more teams, and the teams in turn
yeah. I
make.
mean, like when I watch the games, like I said before, I saw like a lot of potential in the league and just the people in general, and like I don't understand, honestly, like why. Like again, you look at the NBA, the NBA has the G League. You look at baseball, they got minor league systems. Like even certain soccer leagues have, they have they have B divisions and C divisions and everything like that. Like they have training, they have academies and all sorts of stuff. All these other sports do it. And I never understood why football didn't have like a G League or just a developmental league or anything because
They
those
want to
people
keep them
have,
practice squads filled.
yeah, but it's like what do you like when you have a practice squad, that person's not getting better. Like those 10 people in the practice squad aren't getting any better, just sitting there week to week, not dressing, just standing on the sideline with a hoodie and shorts on or whatever. They're not they're not doing anything but going out and being practiced by getting beat up by the active roster players. They're not doing anything. It's not helping them or anything. So it's like when you have a league like the AAF, I mean, who doesn't love football? And NFL ends, then they go straight into spring football, the AAF. Like that's why I was all over it. And then if the NFL,
Yeah,
if
I
the
mean,
NFL actually,
I feel like practice squads are important to like the whole of the team because that's how you get ready for your next opponent. You mimic the other team's supposed defense. So maybe if they can make it work, if you can still have that practice squad team, and then like that, maybe those guys can still go to a different league or like the AAF if they're doing run it simultaneously. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
But I still feel like practice squad is very important for every team.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not saying I'd eliminate the practice squad, but I mean, like, I don't. I mean, I still point to it to a point. Yeah. So like, that developing one, and then two, all these other free agents that are sitting here in the NFL, like that aren't getting signed for years. Like, you're not playing in the like not playing in the NFL. Like, what else are you doing? Like, at least go to another AAF and do something, and showcase that you're healthy, showcase that you can still ball. Get more tape because people only have it's like the NFL's a what have you done lately league. We all know
Yeah,
that. You're sitting here on the sidelines, not in free agency, not getting signed for 2 or 3 years. What are you doing besides getting older? And just you can work out all you want. Your body's to still aging. Like
yeah. And
uh,
like of the players that I did see in the AAF, a lot of them were former NFL players, that,
yeah,
probably just lost a roster spot. And if you getting close to 30 and you lost your roster spot, you're probably, not getting back into the NFL. Like Brandon Whedon was a AAF superstar in the making.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think so? Just staying on topic as far as the practice squad situation, do you think that there should be a rule implemented that you should at least have to activate a player one time per year to the 53-man roster, or else because sometimes you see teams that just hold players on a practice squad with no intentions or hope of moving them up. And yeah, of course another team can sign somebody off the practice squad, but it's like I feel like especially if you hold a player for, let's say, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, almost an entire season, do you think there should be a rule that you have to activate that player at least one time to the 53-man roster, or do you think that takes away from the team?
I don't think that you should have to activate anybody who you don't think warrants the playing time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is cool just because, like Nate Sudfeld, for example, he's the backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, he he was on the practice squad. There was three quarterbacks on the roster, so he was on the practice squad, and Washington wanted to sign him. So because they wanted to sign him, we had to activate him. We had to put him on the active 53 just to make sure that nobody else could get him. So if anybody like if anybody else wanted a player off of somebody else's practice squad, they can go for him. But you know, it's if you're not good enough, then nobody will really reach out to
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way I look at it, like I don't. Again, I agree with Drake too. Like I don't think it should be a rule that you have to activate them because I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna activate them. What are you gonna do with them? Like,
You just gonna have him sit on the bench
yeah,
Basically,
to be active. I don't know. Like Jay said, if any team wants to give that player an opportunity, they can sign him from the practice squad, no problem. Like, there's no rule against that. People swagger jack practice squad players all year long. So if
always.
if the opportunity arises, they'll get that chance.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I just, I just see like I just don't. I mean, I see a point to like I said, but at the same time, it's like I don't see any of those people really developing. You know,
Yeah. And that's what, like, I think all of us agree that the AAF would have been a good thing, you know, just like you said, it came right after football is over. You need that. You still hungry for football, and you barely got your periods of off season activity, but you still
yeah,
want to see that action. So
yeah. I mean, like I could see like I get how the NBA has their G League affiliates. Like I could see the NFL having their AAF or whatever the NFL D League affiliates would be, and that could possibly even serve as your practice squad. Like I mean, imagine you could have like another 45 to 50 man practice squad, and
yep.
now you
That
have
you
your
have first dibs on if you want to
yeah,
move up and activate. That
That's
that
crazy.
makes it
right.
crazy. Like,
Yeah, you have a whole other team of 50 some people that are playing each other. So they're getting their reps, they're developing, and then now if you sit up here and you say, hey, like the NBA, like, hey, we're gonna put you on a 2-way contract. We need you to come up for these 10 days and play. We need you to come up and just be a backup because this starter went down. You're a backup, and then when your two
yep,
day contract goes down, then you go back down to the AAF and you keep pushing. You keep developing. I can see
exactly.
something.
And
And
right
and
and right when playoff time comes, that all of that stops. No more,
yeah, like how in
contract
baseball
before.
you have them until September to do all your call ups, And then even at that, you're still only allowed to pick 25 players for the playoffs. But I like that idea.
Yeah, man.
And
That's
honestly,
great.
NFL is the only league that doesn't have something like that. The NHL does it, the NBA does it, MLB does it. Like they're the only ones that don't have that, and I think that's something that needs to change. And they got to do whatever they need to do to get it similar to those.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do it either. Like, I mean, my thing is like, what do these free agents do? You know, the rest of the year where you're just sitting with a free agency list, working out for teams and not getting picked up, and just like, what are you doing?
That's
Like,
if you're lucky enough to even get a workout with the team.
Yep.
yeah, for real. I mean, like, I feel like I read multiple articles that had like it was saying like guys that were on the free agency, like people were doing like substitute teaching and stuff like that, and somebody was like a part time like, used car salesman for a while and stuff like that. Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, like that's why I thought that's why I thought it was good. I mean, before that, I'd say shoot, go to CFL, do something. But I mean, even then, I guess you have. I don't know if you have uh, a practice squad or anything either. I don't know if they even have that in the CFL. That was something probably worth looking into, but I don't know. I mean, I think the NFL has, like you said, though, I think the NFL has to figure out something
I think
because
I think they will just because they see, they see that there is a hunger for more football, and they saw how much potential there was in the AAF. Now, all you got to do is tell the owners to extend a little money, see exactly how they would feel, things like that. Um, it could be a big deal. I like that idea of having a whole different team that you can have access to and even try to run similar systems and things like that, like even if it's more focused on teaching, like developing these players and
yeah,
instead of just trying to win games, but put more on like individual success, I guess. I don't know, it's
You
still
know,
football.
I think that it's gonna come down to an owner who is not afraid to cut a check and who's not afraid to voice his opinion on the shortage of talent. Like, for example, last year Washington lost Alex Smith, and now this year they had to scramble to go get a quarterback and they had to trade for Case Keenum to get it. Imagine if Washington had a farm system where they had two or three quarterbacks on a roster that they actually picked, scouted, offered a contract to, and said, "We want you to be in our minor league system or the equivalent of it." And Alex Smith went down, and you already have two backups, I'm sure, on the roster, but now at least you have that third option that you can pull up. And it's beneficial to the team, and I think it's really going to take a, a owner who loses star player potential or star player ability and the insufficient amount of talent to replace said player for them to be like, we need a better system because right now I don't even want to go to my practice squad to pull a quarterback from there. I want somebody who's actually been playing real games against more. And you know what? That could also be an opportunity to make the argument for players want or fans want more games during a season, experiment with the minor league system because at least now you're not investing so much money into these players. You can play more games with them and it's less of a liability for you if something happens to the player. And it's not like you can't find another undrafted stud to take that person's spot in your farm system if they get injured. So it makes sense whenever in every aspect of it.
100%.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
It, I definitely like the whole thing about different farm system because I didn't even think about it on the level of using maybe like your same playbook on that team that you're developing in the minors. It makes perfect sense because I
The
mean,
same terminology, complete
yeah,
transferability.
yeah. Because if one person goes down on the the majors, you go to the minors for a person that's already been working down there for 2 and 3 years. They know the team, they know the system, they know the terminology. They come step right in the ball, and you know there's no fall off. There's no I have to learn these plays. Like you know, I think that makes perfect sense too. I was interested to see um, the fallout from as far as who gets picked up. You know, I want to see because I know there's going to be a lot. I know there's going to be a lot of these guys. I don't know what a lot of them are going to do. I don't know if any of them are going to be looked at in the NFL. I mean, there's certain people that I'm pretty sure are going to get picked up. I mean, look at Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson was going like, I don't know if you guys watching he's on the Orlando Apollos. I don't know if you guys watching any of the games, but like, I don't know, me and Kuz watching that game too. Charles Johnson was going off.
Oh, and
I,
he was in Jets camp last year too.
I think,
I,
because I remember he was on the Vikings before too, right?
he played. I think he started his career with the Vikings. Honestly,
Yeah, I could see him being back in the NFL within like the next year. Just
I
off
think
those games.
I believe he'll definitely get a camp invite for sure this year.
Yeah, I mean, him, there's a corner from Birmingham, Lamar
Something
Summers. Lamar Summers.
Summers, yeah.
He was probably the best corner in the whole league, and they said he was up for the defensive player of the year. He was he was drafted from the Steelers. He was out of Connecticut, and like the whole time I was sitting there watching this guy, like man, I'd love to get this guy a job. Like just take a chance on the guy, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like you're sitting here. It's not like since he's transferring leagues, but he's a stud. You gotta be like he's a $50 million contract. Like, you know,
Nope. There's absolutely nothing to lose. It's
no,
a low risk, high reward situation.
yeah. Like when I look at some of the names, and so like some of the names I saw, and I don't know, but there's other ones that were just I knew like as soon as I heard the name, like Greg Ward was down there, and he was a quarterback from Houston, and they switched him to like a slot receiver, and he was going off in that league. They had Reggie Northrup and the Terrence Garvin, two linebackers from Florida State, were in there, and they said they were probably one of the two best linebackers in the league on the same team. You
There was
know,
that quarterback for the Jets, Brad Smith, I believe his name was.
Brad Smith. You mean Hackenberg?
No, I'm talking about a
Way
couple
back.
years
Oh
back.
yeah,
Black guy,
Brad
black
Smith.
guy.
Yeah, he converted to wide receiver when he came to us when we
Yeah,
drafted.
yeah. I think he's a wide receiver for the AAF too.
Yeah.
is he in the AAF too? I
I
gotta
think
look
so.
into that.
I don't know. I know he's definitely up there in age. He's definitely into his 30s by now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't
Are
know.
you talking
Maybe you
about
gotta check. Like,
I was a pretty big Brad Smith fan whenever he was with us. That dude,
uh,
the dude could do
hey,
it all.
your boy Jalen Marshall is down there too.
Yeah, I wish he could have shown anything like that with us because that like when we drafted Jalen Marshall, that was probably exactly what we thought he could be, and he just didn't show it with us, so it sucks. But whatever. Maybe he'll get
I
another.
mean,
So.
talking about talking about like your Jets and everything. What do you guys think about What do you think about your off season so far as NFL teams?
I like it. I like what we did with the offseason. We got Sam Darnold a bunch of weapons on offense. We added C.J. Mosley to the defense, and my biggest piece of the offense or of the offseason was trading for Assembly and signing Le'Veon Bell. I thought that trade for Assembly was a steal.
Yeah,
yeah.
was it like a 6th round pick or something like that?
We traded a 5th round pick for him. We traded a fifth for him and a sixth.
You, you essentially traded a 5th for like a Pro Bowl guard.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So that's a steal. Pro Bowl guard in the 5th round. I'm all right, and we got a 6th round pick back.
Oh yeah, he's not 30 yet, is he? Or is he just touching 30?
What's that?
Is he 30 yet?
Uh, I think he's 29 or he's about to be 30.
I mean, I know we talked about this before, but I think if you guys can fix like the one piece or two piece on your O line, I think y'all be like really
I
solid.
think on the O line, I think what we're really missing is a center, like a legitimate center. I think that's so. If we can get a center in the draft or somehow, maybe we trade into the 2nd round somehow. I think that's our biggest need on offense at this point.
I
Yeah. I
know that.
think this is a year. I think this is a good year to have that need, especially if you can do it in the first round. I think there's plenty of talent on the offensive line.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think if you're the Jets, I don't think you're taking a center 1st round. I don't think
no,
it's happening.
I don't
No.
think they're gonna send in the first round either. But if we
Nah,
probably get into the second round, or if there's one we like in the third round, then yeah.
I know the only one I have going right now is Garrett Bradbury. He's the only one I have going first round.
But who do you think he goes to?
Um,
Probably late.
yeah, I got him going to the Rams because they just lost John Sullivan, and he's well, he was their center for a while, but he's like 34 years old, 30 years old.
Yeah,
So I can see them getting Bradbury, and he's either starting center for the next like 10 15 years. Everybody say he's a stud. He was really good for what I've seen him. I think,
everything I've read says that he's the only center with like a first round grade.
yeah. So unless unless I wouldn't even know. There's no way you guys would trade down that far to even
Yeah.
justify the pick.
It
You
would
Mm.
trade
have
for
to
like
be a trade up or
We,
something like that. No.
I think we're gonna. The longer this goes on, the more I think we're gonna stay put at three and draft the best edge rusher available. Probably either Allen or Bosa.
yeah.
I, I I don't know if Bosa would be available at three. If two quarterbacks go, then probably definitely. But um, I think I like Quinnen. I like Quinnen Williams.
I like
But
Quentin Williams too. You know,
he's
I'm an
just young.
Alabama fan, so like I watched Quentin play a lot. We just like there's no real place to put him. We have Leonard Williams, Henry Anderson. We have to move one of those guys for him to play in a D tackle or a nose tackle.
Yeah,
But I think there's a chance we could get Bosa. I think Quinnen might end up going to the Niners. They might pick him, but I don't know. I think we're either gonna get Bosa or Allen. I don't think we trade down. Even though I'm fine, I would rather trade down to get more picks to build more of a team. I don't think we're gonna. I just think taking a chance on losing both of those guys to picks before us, I think that's too big of a risk for us to trade down. 'Cause we need
Yeah,
that bad. We need somebody to get to the quarterback bad, especially Tom Brady.
definitely. I mean, he's getting up there. One hit to do it.
Yeah, right.
If he had to see Von Miller again, yeah,
oh no.
that,
I don't know, Cruz. I think like you guys. I think there's definitely some options. Like if you guys, I don't again. Like and I'll pose the question we were talking about before about the number 2 and 5 picks to Dre in a second. But I know like first round if you guys go best player available. Second round, like I was telling you before. I know Connor McGovern is a guy who could step in and play center for you guys from Penn State, play center and guard. And then there's Elton Jenkins, Mississippi State. He could play center and guard for you too. So you got options in the second, even third round, you know.
Yeah.
But before I answer the question of you, Dre, I was going to ask you, what do you think about your Eagles offseason move so far, at least in free agency?
I mean, honestly, I loved our off season so far. I think that the signing Malik Jackson was a big deal. Last year you could see that we were missing somebody in the middle next to Fletcher Cox. Timmy Jernigan was hurt for most of the year and wasn't really good once he got back. But I think Deshaun Jackson is a big deal. You know, I think we've been looking for a deep threat for so long. We we signed Torrey Smith, we signed Mike Wallace, all to do the same job that Deshaun Jackson is the best at in the league since he's been playing. And I think Jordan Howard was just like the icing on the cake. Like
Uh,
I was begging for a running back and a sixth round pick that could be a fifth round pick. That's a steal. So I think that opens up everything for the draft. I think
And he's still fairly young too. I think he's still only like 25 or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. This is still his rookie contract. He's on the last year, so either we re-sign him or we don't re-sign him. He gets signed to a good amount of money, and we get a compensation. So I mean, like it's been a nice off season. Like now is we can still go running back in the draft, but we still
It's
can go
not.
a million
Yeah,
other ways too.
you don't need to go as high on running back.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I mean, I didn't want Josh Jacobs. I didn't want to go running back in the first round anyway. I was, you know, we got 2 seconds, so we could have made something happen. But
everything you said, I agree with, and I also hate it because I'm a Giants fan. Everything you said, I agree with completely. But as soon as you said Deshaun Jackson, I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
yeah, I I understand. I
I
understand.
I have a strong team for that man.
Oh man, and he's back. He's back.
Oh my god, I can't. I may not watch the game. I might not watch anyway. You're gonna go
And
0 and
that
16 or
and
something,
now
right?
like and now you guys like don't have Odell like that.
There it is. There it is.
But wait,
Wow,
but
damn.
no,
Wait,
I
there's
wasn't
more.
going to say that
Low,
to harm you guys, but I'm
low,
saying like
low,
y'all
low,
don't
low.
have somebody to take that pain away. That all of that bleeding that Deshaun Jackson is
Just
causing.
just gonna bleed out now. There's no bandages.
Are you
There's no.
done? You done, bro?
I, yeah, I was done. No, I mean like
Oh, I'm fucking with you.
No, boo, you chime in because
Oh,
I,
you
I
want me to try? All
yeah,
right.
you chime
How much
in.
time y'all got? You guys want to grab a snack or something? You want to? Anybody need to use the? Nah, man.
I
Honestly,
like snacks.
and we're
I
gonna
got
get
some
through
steak
this.
this morning.
We're gonna get through this without crying. So that's gonna be the
All
goal of
right,
it. Uh,
all right. Well, I'm gonna back out for a second.
uh. I don't understand. I think that's the best way to start everything. I just don't even understand because if you look back to like, all right, I know we're talking about off season. I'm just gonna go back to last season really quick. We
All right.
traded snacks.
Keep it moving.
We traded Eli Apple, who all of a sudden learned how to cover, which was mind-boggling. I was like, where was this when you were? I don't know what was going on.
And
Then
what was
off
he
season,
traded for?
A
fourth,
fourth and a sixth, I want to say.
And
fourth,
you all
and
picked him like 10th, what, like 3 years ago?
he was supposed to be that shutdown corner on the outside, never panned out. But guess what? Hey, I guess he likes playing in New Orleans, so that's great. But and then off season came. We moved OV, which is great because he couldn't stay healthy, couldn't even stay on the field, and we definitely had to get rid of him.
Oh,
Uh,
And you got
and
O line in replace, so
and
that's a
then yeah,
good pickup.
we got a one of the best right guards in the game uh, in the trade, and then all of a sudden things just started crumbling. And when things started crumbling, it felt like it wasn't going to stop.
so fast.
And then we let Landon walk. That report came out that he emptied out his locker. And then another report came out 10 minutes later that was like, oh, he didn't take everything, though. And then he was quick to tweet, I don't need any of that shit, anyways. So that was not very, that was, that didn't feel good to hear. But I was like, maybe there's still a
Oh,
chance.
You can
Washington,
tell.
Washington jumped on it, which was very heartbreaking. I
oh
was
my
like, how
goodness.
do we let him go into the division? All right, that though, I could have let that go. I could have been like, you know what, maybe, because you know what, me and Joe talked about this all the time. In my opinion, coverage was Landon's kryptonite. He could not cover.
Oh,
He was great. You could bring him down. He could play amongst the linebackers. He was a run stopper, open field tackling. He was that guy. But coverage, non-existent. So I could
now
understand not wanting to pay him big money. The
the,
Odell Beckham trade.
the thing is, hold on, before you get into it, the thing is with Landon, just because I watched him for so long at Alabama, as far as his coverage skills goes, either he's getting an interception or like the receiver's blowing right past him. Like
That's
there's no in between.
Oh,
There's
it
no bump.
does.
There's no like just getting in the way. Like it's either interception or blown coverage, and that's just like. But yo, you bring the man down the box, he's a savage.
that's
I mean,
that, it,
did you
it,
like? Did you guys feel like the Giants should have used a franchise tag? Because I mean, it was only $11 million compared to the 14 that Washington gave on average per year.
I know he said that he wasn't going to play under a franchise tag, but I'm just a firm believer when you get talent in the door and you've seen what they've been able to do, even given his lack of ability in coverage, it's like that was a cornerstone of our defense that at least we knew we didn't have to go and replace that position. So you know what? Maybe you bring him in on the franchise tag. You still traded OV. You still got all this money off the books, and you tell him next season when we actually have cap space, we'll be able to give you the money that you think that you deserve. And who knows, maybe we'll have more pieces around you to support you. But just letting him walk out the door is like it's almost blasphemous. It's like,
But
why would you do that?
at the same time, now we can move into the Odell trade because at the same time, y'all got Jabril Peppers in return, who is very solid in coverage.
Very solid in coverage, also very undersized, which leaves some concerns in the run stopping, open field tackling. I like Jabril. I liked him when he was at Michigan. I liked his versatility. I liked everything that he was able to contribute to a team. It's just I don't know. When you compare the two, it's like
I
I don't
mean,
know, man. I don't know. It's like, do you want the
He has to
guy
prove
that
it to
can't?
you.
Yeah, do you want the guy that can't tackle, but he's going to be able to play coverage? Or do you want the guy that can't cover, but he'll hit anybody that moves? And it's like,
it's like a catch-22.
and
Yeah.
then just trading Odell, man, it's like I just don't understand. If you look at everything before his injury, he was breaking records that have not even been touched since Randy Moss. And it's like when you bring up somebody in the same name as Randy Moss was a generational talent. Randy Moss, kids were literally screaming out like Moss whenever you jumped over somebody and caught the ball. And it was the same type of thing
His
with
name is a
Odell.
verb.
Literally, like you, the one hand grab, it's like just what he meant. And then also his contributions to the community. Everybody said he was a distraction. Everybody said, you know what though? I like that passion. I want somebody who wants to win so badly that it's it's in them. It's just in them. Like they are ready to just let it all out. And letting him walk. Oh man, if I'm telling you, if he wins a ring with Cleveland, I'm going to cry. There are going to be legitimate tears.
Wait, wins a ring with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Hold on, sir. Let's.
Is that crazy? Is that crazy to
I
think?
mean, if they, yeah, yeah.
No, I
I
don't think it's
think
that crazy anymore.
I think it's.
I think
I
it's
think
time
that
people start realizing that like Cleveland's a team to be reckoned with.
I think that their team, just like all of the talent, stacked full of talent. I think that they can win, and I think but I don't think that in year one they would get all of that. But I do have them as the favorites to win their division. You know,
Hmm.
I want to see. I want to see what happens because they do have possibly the wait all the wide receivers that's moving around. They might have the number one wide receiver core in the league. They have a nice running game. They have a great defense. They were competitive in all of the games that they lost last year, most of them at least. So, I mean, I still winning a Super Bowl, Cleveland. Wow, it's just
Hey
my
man,
things have
hey,
changed, right?
hey man, people said the same thing about the Eagles and y'all won a championship. So
Ooh.
Facts.
I'm just
Facts.
saying.
and they
Facts.
and they currently say about the
Uh, you're not wrong. You're
Jets.
not. I'm not gonna sit here and deny it, but I'm just saying. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, 100% though. 100%. I mean, but the difference is that neither one of like I there's very few teams that we've seen that had to come from that low, from 0 and 16. And the only other team you could compare is the Lions, and they still haven't gotten there. So
But
what you is really about if the coach and the culture change is enough, and if they can really put the wins together. It's about what you do on Sundays. But
yeah,
What about you, Joe?
the Giants off season. Uh, um, yeah, I mean, with Landon, you hit on a lot of points with the whole Landon uh situation. My whole thing was again like, and I read about the franchise tag, and I read about even the transition tag, and I would have preferred the transition tag because I mean, you actually would get compensation back for him. My whole thing is, my whole thing with Gettleman is like, if you knew that you weren't bringing Landon back the whole time, then why didn't you trade him and get something for him?
Facts.
Like that's that's my whole issue with it. Like don't go into don't go the
You
whole
could have
season.
easily gotten a first round pick for him.
Well, the thing is, we fielded offers for a first round pick. Nobody was doing that. The most somebody was willing to give us was a second. And I mean, I still would have taken that. If you're not getting anything else, and
Yeah,
at the end
honestly,
of
if you
the
knew
day,
you were gonna get rid of him in the offseason, you should have just taken a second.
yeah,
Unless you believe that you're going to win a ring with him that 1 year that you have left.
which
Which
we weren't obviously. like,
yeah.
like at the trade deadline, they were, gentlemen was saying like rumors came out a while later, like multiple teams offered the Giants a first round pick, and Gettleman was saying like, nah, it's not true. If that were the case, we would have taken one of the offers. And the thing is like, yo, if you know the whole time, like, okay, I don't value this position. I don't see the value in giving a safety that can't cover. I don't value them at a 60, 70, $80 million mark. Like, then why are you holding on to this person? Just trade him, let him go. Like,
Get
you have,
something instead of nothing.
yeah, somebody offered you a second round pick, take the second round pick. Because now, if you would have did that, and I mean, obviously, I didn't like the Odell trade either, but I'll get to that in a second. But now, if you look at it now, we'd have two first round picks and two second round picks. Like, and on this team, that's four starters. That's four day one starters. Like, it could have been, we could have been any move. We could have got a D lineman, a linebacker, a corner, and something else, and you could justify any move, and we would have been like, cool. That's four young pieces that are going to start for us for day one. That are going to be core people to build around. But it's like, don't let this man go all into the off season, and all the whole Giants fan base is sitting here talking about how much they love Landon and how much he meant to the team and how much we wanted him back and how much like Giants fan base love Landon Collins. And you just sit here and have little to no contact with the guy and not even say like, oh, we offered him 8 million and he turned it down, or to even say, what would you say if we offered you this, and that? There was no contact. Like, just let him walk. Like the first day of free agency, he just left. And then he goes to the Redskins. Like, and I mean, obviously he
To
had that in
play
the
you
back of his
twice, to play
yeah,
you twice a year.
yeah. And he wants. He's headhunting. You know they're gonna send him on some safety blitz, and he's gonna try to take Eli's head off. Like
I
that's his
mean,
play style. Like he said, like he idolized Sean Taylor. He played one because of Sean Taylor, and he said that's my whole play style. I want to take people's heads off. That Washington Redskins are gonna sit here and stack the box with him and blitz him right at us because they know, and he knows the weakness of our O line. He's built with us, so he knows our team, he knows our players, and he knows Eli can't move. And if Eli sees him blitzing him, Eli's gonna drop right to the ground. You know it, like he knows it.
Yo,
he just
yeah, I
gives it
feel
up
it, man.
sometimes.
And I
Like
mean, like, I did see, like, as soon I saw the one clip where as soon as he got brought into the Redskins and after he got signed and everything, they gave him the gift. They gave him the signed, game worn Sean Taylor jersey, and it brought him to tears. It's like, and now he feels like he feels appreciated by the team. And that was the 100% what the opposite of how he felt with the Giants. At least in the last couple days, but it
and,
sucks. But
and my whole thing I was talking to with the boot about is like if you sit up here and say now we have Jabril Peppers right now. Jabril Peppers comes in and plays. And I could say he's like Landon Collins like he's diet Landon Collins like. But he comes in, he balls out for the rest of his contract. He gets to his contract and he wants something similar to what Landon has. You just let him walk too.
No, I think by that time you guys will have the money to do that.
But that's not the point though. It's the point. The fact is that Gettleman doesn't value players at such a high. He doesn't value safety at a high dollar. So it's effectively what did you beg and plead for this guy to come? Like why is he such a big part of this trade? because he's only going to play like another season or two on his rookie deal, and now he's going to want a $60 million deal, $70 million deal, like, and you're not going to give it to him. What are you going to do? Just let him walk and go get another season? Like, it, it's pointless, you know. Uh, I mean, the whole Odell thing I'll talk about in a second, but I just don't see. I don't see much of the benefit of just letting him walk and getting at least nothing for him. And there wasn't even to me. As much as I've seen, I didn't even see like a thank you, from at least from the Giants fan base or something like. And I knew it was he was going to leave too because like usually you'll see the players come out and say something about the player like 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 you've seen people like on Twitter and Instagram talking to each other. You see NFL players talking to follow each other all the time, like, and you'll see them talk about like bring the big bro back. This is my brother. This and that. Blah blah. Like this Landon Collins situation, there was nothing. It was crickets. Like I didn't see anything of like Odell speaking out or even Eli or anybody like like let's do anything in our power to bring this man back because
Almost like he was alienated from the team.
yeah, that's how I felt. Like that's how I felt watching the whole situation unfold. Like it seemed like nobody wanted him back, and I'm like, what does this guy do besides be like the defensive leader and be the emotion of the defense? Because you had Odell on the offensive side was your emotion, and you had Landon on your defense, and now it's like I've been saying last night, and I've said many times before. It's like we have no identity. We have no defensive leader, and we have no offensive leader because you're not gonna turn to Eli for you know
I mean, Saquon. I mean, he's he's only in his second year, but that's who you turn to on offense. So he might have to step into that role on offense at least. But
I'd probably on the offensive side, I think probably by mid-season it'll probably be Golden State. Honestly, I think he'll step up and say something. I mean,
he's the vet. He's the vet.
yeah, as I'm saying, you might roll your eyes blue, but like, I mean, like that's the reality situation.
That's facts.
Who else is stepping in? 'Cause whether
I
we win
think
or
I
lose, whether we throw a touchdown or a pick, Eli's going to still sit here like,
Eli's going to be Eli. Yeah,
yeah,
that's not going to change.
no, he's not going to be. He's not going to be going up and down the sideline, yelling at people, getting fiery, trying to next to troops. He's still going to just sit there and the same look on his face that we've had to deal with for like 20 years, 15 years. But what are you going to say?
I personally think as far as a leader on the offense, and call me crazy, I think Sterling's going to take that role because I think Sterling came from that Odell school of emotion, and especially last year, he wasn't afraid to be outspoken. He wasn't afraid to kind of get out his body if something wasn't going right. Like there was no apprehension on his part. He didn't feel like that little brother anymore. He felt like I'm as just as much of a contributor on this team as anybody else. So and especially that 49ers game, that game-winning touchdown, that kind of put him over the top like, oh shit, like
I got this.
I can really do this. And then you saw it in his play from that point on. From that point on, he's hurdling guys. He's doing things that he was not doing beforehand, showing emotion kind of. So I get what you're saying. We definitely don't have an identity on defense, but I'm definitely going to be looking at him because you were here when you had all of this veteran leadership above you, kind of taught you how to move. You were their rookie, and hopefully something rubbed off on him. But yeah, if it's not him, I don't think Saquon, because I think Saquon, if you start chirping at him, he'll definitely chirp back, but I don't know if he's the guy that's gonna get every guy in the huddle and chew you out and let you know like, yo, you missed that block, whatever the case is. Like he just seems too humble for that right now.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is like I love Sterling. I don't want Sterling to fall the same, fall victim like Odell did. I don't want him to start being fiery and yelling on the sidelines and trying to ignite people and get them just like, whoa, you're a distraction, and trade him too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And
you know,
Landon was one of those too. Landon was the one that came out and held people accountable when he felt
yeah.
like they wasn't giving their all and things like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that could be part of the issue, but
I mean,
I hate to see good players leave because of bad team management Like
Yeah.
even like the Raiders, how they handle the whole Khalil Mack situation. You know, it's just like it's just it doesn't show appreciation for the good players that you have, and you know how good you can be with them on your team. But
Yeah.
I,
I mean, piggybacking off of, not to cut you off, sorry, but like, um, just piggybacking off of what Abood said, like, as far as like, people didn't recognize, people wanted to make Odell a villain so bad in New York. Like, everything he did was just like it's the truth though. You look at all the headlines and everything during games is he's doing this, he's punching this, he's throwing a tantrum on here, he's this, he's that. But look at all the kids that this guy inspired. Like, look at the training, look at the camps that he did, look at the charity events that he did. But you never see any of that. Nobody ever said anything about any. Nobody ever had anything good to say about him. But then everybody say, "Oh, he's an amazing player. He's this, he's this, he's that." That's great. All the other kids, he'd be out there just signing autographs for kids all day long. As many kids that wanted it, as many kids that he showed up, he'd be outside dancing. He'd get the crowd going before the games. Like he
he
showed,
was the star.
yeah, he
He
was the show. Like, you know,
Do you
he
know
but
what it
it's
was.
was?
like,
I
But
live
then
in
again,
Brooklyn. I
but
live in Brooklyn. You can look out into the crowd of people and see the Odell Beckham haircuts like all over the place.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's
but then again, that's the like that's all the New York media, man. That shit'll chew you up and spit you out like you ain't shit.
Yep, yep.
yeah.
That's
That's
what it
literally what
is.
I was gonna say. You know what it was reminiscent of for me? It was like it was awfully similar to the whole Carmelo treatment towards the end of his career. It's like towards the end of his career, now all of a sudden he became this like almost liability for the team. But it's like you forget just a couple years ago he was the guy
He
hitting
was
the
the
big
guy.
shots. He was selling out the Garden.
yeah,
Everybody's wearing his jersey in the stadium. Like he was the golden child. And then it just sucks how, especially in New York, it's like they expect a certain standard of you, and if you're not that 100%, if you don't embody that 100%, the city is so quick to turn on you. And I think this is this is a whole different conversation for another day, but I think there's going to be a shift in these major city markets, or these major market cities, for these teams, that it's going to be difficult for them to attract players, because it's like the second that you underperform, the whole fan base is quick to turn on you. And it's, of course, if you have the money, any player is going to go there. But I definitely think it's something that more players take into consideration.
I
yeah,
I, I think like players definitely take it into consideration already. I
Hmm.
mean, when you look at the big market teams now, they're not signing huge names except for like L.A. Now that they moved, now that the Rams moved, but people aren't lining up to sign up for the Chargers or for
But even at that, the Rams still can't sell out a game.
still can't. They're still usually the underdog in the like as far as the stadium goes. Like it's any big team goes there and
It's an away
they
game.
have
yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
So
I, I don't know. I almost feel like it's like almost like what you said with Carmelo. I almost feel like it's almost like a Nets situation when the Nets were in New Jersey. You know, and I feel like the Nets. Like I grew up, I've been a Nets fan since I was a kid. Like when I was like 5, 6 years old, and we used to go to the Nets games and everything at Prudential Center or IZA, whatever it was called, Continental Airlines, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was just like towards the end, we were. I mean, the team sucked. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we were 12-70. Like, you could buy tickets for $3. Like it was crazy. But it's like through all that, I was still a Nets fan. But you had people that were like, all these people that were Nets fans just gave up. All of them were just like, man, screw the Nets. They suck. Blah blah. They can leave. We don't care. Whatever. And it was like they chased them out. And now that these dudes moved to Brooklyn, they had a couple good years. They had that 1 or 2 good years in the playoff run, and they fell back down. But it's like now they're building back up, and they're trying to make a late playoff push now to stay in the playoffs. But it's like now all these people that pushed them out of New Jersey are all like, "Oh, screw the Nets! I hate the Nets. They left Jersey. They left us high and dry." Snap. It's like, nah, nah. You ran him out of town. Like
Nah, I
don't do
mean,
that.
Straight like that.
I mean, I watched that whole thing. The Nets kind of like destroyed themselves in a way, like management, because you don't go to back Eastern Conference Finals and then fire your coach and then destroy the team. Like that's not
Hmm.
what you're supposed to do, and everything went downhill from there. Like
No,
I'm not
no.
disagreeing with your point about the fans chasing them out because that kind of did happen, but as well, they also traded a bunch of their first round picks and you
Oh
know,
yeah,
like they made a lot of bad moves.
that it was terrible.
But this once again go back to the Giants and not going to say that they made that level of bad moves. We'll see. But that's how you destroy a team. That's how you break down your fan base by really making these moves that make no sense to anyone else but you. You know,
And I'm not even sure it made sense to them.
I,
Yeah,
it didn't make sense to me. Like who signed Odell to the contract to his contract? Was that Gettleman or was
Yeah.
that before?
yeah, it was
So
gentlemen.
and how much dead money is on that contract now? Like
I want to say like 16 mil.
ridiculous.
I think it's about 16 or 17. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about next year as far as
Cap
we'll have
space.
anywhere from 80 to 110 million in cap space. But that's not the point. I don't believe in this whole you can win games and rebuild crap. Like that
No,
don't make no
you can
sense to
only
me.
do one or the other.
Yeah, because if you sit
Now,
up here,
if you're talking about retooling, that's different.
Yeah,
yeah,
You
reloading,
you can retool and win games still, but when you rebuild, you just gotta tear it up.
yeah, you gotta
start
tear it.
all the way over. And they're still holding on to Eli.
Yeah,
Like
that's the biggest piece.
Man, if I was Eli, I would have been retired. I would have sent my papers the next day.
why not, man? I mean,
That's 23
after
million.
McAdoo destroyed that his chance at Brett Favre's record for starting the most consecutive games, and fuck McAdoo for that. I don't like Eli, but come on now. You
That's
know,
foul. That was
yeah,
foul.
that was foul.
Yeah,
So, but
For
aside
Geno
from that,
Smith. For
yeah, for
Geno
Geno
Smith.
Smith,
yeah.
and
It's for
and
who he signed
besides,
it to.
Eli should have played part of that game anyway. Gino like stunk it up. Eli was like, "Nah, I'm not playing at all. If you sitting me, I'm sitting the whole way."
I would
Yeah,
do the same shit.
like yeah,
Started him the next week.
that that for me that situation is completely idiotic. I mean, again, you don't ever. I would never pull Eli, but if you're gonna do it for Davis Webb. Do it for the rookie quarterback. Like, don't do it for Geno Smith. It
Somebody
shows
with
who playing this
potential.
game. Yeah, come on, man. It was just the dumbest thing. But yeah, and it's crazy to think I like a lot of the other things that the Giants have done in free agency. Now the whole Golden Tate contract, not a fan of that. That's way I think it was way too much money for him. But I think the return we can get on Marcus Golden on a 1 year deal, it's a low risk, high reward kind of thing. So I will take that. Kevin Zeitler part of that deal, I will definitely take because again, he's one of the best guards in the league. I'll definitely take that. And I mean, our only thing is that we have so many glaring holes on defense that I'd rather double up in the first round than take a quarterback. And like I was saying before with the Vood, that's Gettleman's the type of guy that you have to read between the lines of what he says because when he was talking on the whole thing with Odell, if he wanted to kill all the Odell trade rumors, somebody would have been like, "Is Odell available for trade?" And he literally would have just said no, and that would have been the end of it. But for people to be like, "Is Odell available for trade or not?" and for him to be like, "Well, we didn't sign him for we didn't sign him for 90 million to trade him," that tells everybody, okay, if we offer him a good enough deal, they'll take it. That's all it tells you. So when Gettleman sits up here and they're like, "Oh, are you taking a quarterback in this draft?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll take a quarterback, and then we'll take a quarterback in the fourth round." And everybody's like, "Wait, why are you taking?" He's like, "Oh, I told you we're taking the quarterback. I didn't tell you what round we're taking the quarterback." he's that kind of guy. So it's like whenever you have to read between the lines of everything this guy says, like we were talking about it last night. Like we could see him taking like Tyree Jackson in the fourth round and just sitting him on the bench and developing for multiple years. Like, and when you turn around, like, yo, you seriously went for Tyree Jackson? Like, yeah, well, we'll keep Eli for another 3 years and let Tyree develop behind him. Like, come on, man. Like, you
So
can't
let me ask
do
you a
that.
question. Let me ask both of y'all a question, the Giants fans. Do you want him gone now, or how many years do you give him? Like what?
Oh, yeah.
Eli?
Why'd you put an S at the end of years?
Like I
One.
don't know. Like, do you give him one more year? Do you think he, or do you give him the chance? But the whole process to
Who you talking
start
about? Eli
rebuilding.
or Gettleman?
Gettleman. Yeah, nah, not Eli, man.
Oh my God! I thought we were talking about Eli. I was like, why are you putting
Oh,
S at the end of year? Like this is last year.
I'm asking, do you trust?
I
How
would.
much do you trust Gettleman? Basically,
Me and Joe had this conversation last night, and I agree. Joe made a great point. He killed last year's draft. If you go back to last year's draft, what was it, Joe? The first like 4 rounds were all starters,
4 rounds. We're all starters.
and they all contributed. We got Saquon, we got BJ Hill, we got Lorenzo Carter, we got KJ Martin. All
Will
made
Hernandez. Will Hernandez.
Oh, Will Hernandez, my bad. All contributing starters, and if they didn't start the year as a starter, they finished the year as a starter. So my thing is that great. You did it last year and it didn't pan out. This year's draft is so important because this year's draft dictates how the next 5 years are going to go. Because either you hit on this draft and we actually bring in some actual talent, or you blow it. And at 6, you take Dwayne Haskins, who I'm not big on, when we could have gotten maybe a defensive player. My strategy is plug all the other holes because 2020's draft class is going to be stocked with quarterbacks. Plug every other position need this draft. Worry about quarterback next year. I am 100% fine if we get linebackers, if we get corners, work on our O line, and beef up the defense. If we go 0-16, it's okay because I know the following year we have our choice of 4 to 5 quarter. Like we can literally get whoever we want. So that's why I think this draft determines how he's going to move forward with the franchise. If he hits on this draft, all right, I'm still here. I'm riding with you. If he blows it this draft and next year turns out to be terrible and now we win just enough games to not even get a pick of the top quarterbacks in the draft, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's not looking good.
Yeah, for real. I think I agree. Like
What if he's
I think
tanking for Trevor Lawrence in 2021?
I'll take it.
That kid's man. That kid's special to watch play.
Sunshine. Don't he look like Sunshine from Remember the
He,
Titans? Oh
he,
my
he,
God.
man,
he,
sunshine, man.
he's definitely got a Manning face for sure.
Him?
For sure.
He does, definitely does. But the
He got
long
that.
hair does.
He got that Manning forehead. That thing
For sure.
extends.
For sure.
The long face.
But that kid is a very special player.
For sure.
Oh, he's a special talent, man. I haven't seen anything like him in a long time, man. Um, like this year, I definitely would just like you said, I definitely would stock up on the defense. That'd be my goal more than anything. I'd stock up on the defense. I'd probably double up, go D line and linebacker in the draft, first 2 picks. I'd probably come back second round and get a right tackle that starts day one. And then rounds 3 through 7, you can find pieces and you could just find other rotational depth players, special teams, all that stuff. Because like you said, the following year, you got Nick Fromm, you got Tua coming out, you got Herbert coming out, you got Eason coming out, you got all these people coming out that that you could sit down and that they could be your franchise later on. And I think the only thing that's crazy to me is that I've been reading a lot that like the we're going year to year with Eli. Actually, I read that not too long ago. actually came out from one of the owners. I think it was Tish. He said that we're gonna go year to year with Eli. But Eli has a solid year this year. He said, you know, who's not to think that we could that we don't bring him back for another year after. So I wouldn't say this is his last year by any means. So get ready for two more
I
years with
mean,
Eli Manning.
you
Favorite
know what's
quarterback.
crazy? I really like, at least in recent years, when your team is really good, Eli is not that good. But when the team is really bad, Eli plays like lights out. You know, he plays the best football.
Also, there's two different Eli's. There's regular season Eli, which is trash, and then you got playoff Eli, which is a phenomenon.
I think is in
There's
there.
there's no explanation for it.
Nah, Eli kills me because Eli's good for at least two mistakes a game, and they're usually beat him the most. Like that, yo,
Pick
tell me that
sixes.
that Eagles game, we were killing y'all that
Oh
Eagles
my
game,
goodness, yo, that was a
killing them.
legendary game. That was a
Like
legendary game. Like,
we were we were killing y'all, and then guy has Saquon open on the left side, and he tries to throw into quadruple coverage to Odell Beckham, and y'all push y'all pick it, and then the second half is just history. It's just typical Giants football after that. Like after
like
that,
man,
as soon as you
Yo,
do that, I didn't even watch the rest of the game. I was like, oh, the Eagles won. Like
yo, I'm not even gonna front. I don't like you talk about my team, Dre. Honestly, every time you say
I,
something, it kind
you know what's
of.
funny? You know what's funny? Like, I don't like talking about the Giants, like, cause I don't like kicking a dead horse. You know.
Oh my God, this
Yeah,
guy,
wow,
that
this
horse
guy.
now.
wow, that's a personal foul.
Hey, what was the next topic, Joe?
Yeah.
He said that after he looked at the WhatsApp conversation too.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Talk about quarterback Russell Wilson. What do you think about this contract situation? You think he's leaving? I mean, he says he's not going to hold out, but my question is just why now? Why out of nowhere? Like, you didn't hear anything about it before this whole offseason, so why would he just bring this up now?
um,
Apparently, he told Seattle this in January, from what I read today. So this is not like something that snuck up on Seattle. It's just something that we're all learning now.
Hmm.
yeah, that's what my guess was going to be. I didn't really hear too much about the situation, but Russell Wilson is like one of those consummate professional kind of guys. And he probably, brought it to him quietly, didn't alert no media and anything like that. Just let him know, like, yo, I want to get paid. Like, you're not paying nobody else, so might as well. But I don't like what is. I was looking at his contract. Like, how much is he getting paid right now? Because
This is the last year of that extension he signed. I think 4 years ago. He signed like
Mhm.
a 4 year, $80 million extension, I believe.
oh yeah, I
So
mean, he probably saw Nick Foles' contract and was like, "Come on." And I
For
mean,
sure.
like,
I
right
mean,
there, immediately, anybody in the NFL should be like, "All right, yeah, you know, just pay the guy."
Well, Jacksonville is the only team that was going to pay him that much.
Hey,
they were.
just like
I
just like the Vikings were the only team that was going to give a
know.
first round pick for Sam Bradford. Like, who else? Who else?
oh man. I
And like
mean
you said,
my go ahead, Joe.
it's like Cruz was saying, it's like the Jags just like outbid themselves. Like, it's like who else are
It's
you?
who-
Who else are you bidding with in free agency? Like, it wasn't
Um,
like somebody's like, we'll give you 40. And they're like, oh, we'll give them 50. Like, you were just waging a battle against yourself. Like, it's like your left and right hand, like, just bidding each other.
Yo,
Like,
that's
get that
exactly
man.
what their war room looked like. Like, they were bidding against each other. Like, the GM standing in front, yo, do I have 50? Yo, let me get a
Like,
60.
I would have loved. I would
Sold
love to be.
$22 million
I
Like
would
the
have
GM deal.
loved to have been his agent because like you just got him that deal and he was like, dude, what did you do to get me paid? I said hello. I didn't even say anything. I picked up the phone and they were just like 22 a year.
uh, yo, I mean, what I will say, just as far as Nick Foles goes, I don't, I wouldn't give him that kind of money. But I do think that once you win a Super Bowl for a team and get a Super Bowl MVP, you should get some sort of commitment from a team. You know, at least I don't know about 4 years, but you know, I'm glad. I'm glad for the guy. I think he deserves some of that.
Some of that, he
Like if
says.
he would have gotten 22 over 4, that would have been kind of, you know what I'm saying? That would have been cool.
Top five QB in Eagle history.
I don't know. I
No,
predicted he
funny,
was
of
gonna get.
course.
I predicted he was gonna get a contract like
No,
Case
it's
Keenum's.
like, whoa, let's keep it funky. He has a Super Bowl ring.
Yo, he's top 2 and
Yeah.
he's not 2.
Nah, there's still a couple.
He also
Like,
hasn't done much outside of Philly, so this is his
yo, you know
redemption.
what's crazy though? He's done like it was two different regimes in Philly, and like he won a Super Bowl, the other he threw 27 touchdowns and two interceptions. Like it's ridiculous. This is unexplainable. The dude has three displays in Canton right now.
Yeah.
He said when he was playing on the Rams, he had to take a leave of absence from football and he was seriously considering whether or not he even wanted to continue playing football. And then when he went back to Philly, like he found like a new love and a new appreciation for the game. So I really think it's all about the environment. And I hate Philly, like I really hate Philly, but like I can definitely see wanting to win in a town like that just because your fans are insane.
Passionate.
Yeah,
What?
insane.
Gro-
Eat horse poop when you guys win the Super Bowl. Crazy. So
Whoa, I don't. That
that
sounds
happened.
like Florida.
That happened.
That happened.
That happened.
There's
Yeah.
videos.
Damn,
Wow.
I didn't even know about that. That's wild, yo.
Wow.
There's videos.
Wow.
You sure that wasn't Cowboys fans betting against Eagles fans?
Apparently, y'all
Because I'm
have
sitting
y'all
there.
have cops on horses in Philly, and he walked right up to the cop's horse and just ate the yeah. But that's yeah. So
And
I would
I saw.
definitely want to win for that fan base too, because otherwise they might eat me. So I don't know, man. It's like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
like,
Like y'all just get this Bleacher Report notifications that says the Jaguars tried to trade for RG3 twice.
Twice. Yep.
twice.
I did get that twice.
RG3.
Like,
I mean, they did have Blake
wait. But
Bortles.
I don't see how anyone didn't give them like. How did you have the opportunity to trade for him twice? Once you try to trade for him, that should be it. The team should be like, "Oh yeah, what you giving us?" You
Yeah,
know.
like you're
But
the you holding out for a better deal. Like, come on. Like I
and
was like, look,
all while Colin Kaepernick sits without a job.
It's crazy, yo. That man is getting
They
like bamboozled.
the Dolphins pulled Jay Cutler out of retirement over playing
I
over
don't care what nobody says. There's no way, there's no reason Colin Kaepernick doesn't like shouldn't have a job right now. He's better than all the backups and like probably a good quarter of the starters.
going.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, I'm pretty sure we all know the reason, but that's a big
Yeah, we know the reason, but
another
like
show.
this,
Yeah.
like there's no way you can explain that other than like collusion. That's what happened.
Oh yeah.
Definitely next episode. I definitely want to hear your guys' opinions on the settlement and everything that we've heard about it because that
Mm,
this is definitely a conversation that can take up an entire episode. So I'm not trying to hold y'all right now, but next episode I definitely want to hear
yeah,
what you guys
I
think
got
about it.
something that I could throw in there
Oh
too.
yeah, I have a lot of opinions about it. A lot.
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, I know we've been through a lot. I think the final thing that I think we should definitely discuss is Gronk retirement and how you guys feel about him being one of the best or the best tight end of all time. As I believe it's BS. I'm biased.
I don't think he's the best of all time. Had he not got injured as much, I believe that he would be. But there's nothing that puts him above Tony Gonzalez at this point, honestly, in my opinion.
No,
The even the team success, or
Like,
just because he was
I
in
mean,
such a winning spot
Mm.
that
there's
really
no
doesn't factor in. Like
nah,
they
because
won without him and with
he's
him.
got Tom Brady throwing on the ball. What you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Would he be as good with a different quarterback throwing the ball?
I mean nobody. Yeah, I don't
I
think
don't know.
maybe, but
Like I
I
said,
don't.
had he not been had he not had so many injuries, I think he would be the greatest of all time. But I think those injuries really stopped him from being his full potential.
Yeah, I think that I think he's top three, top two, possibly. But
For sure.
once again, Tony Gonzalez, the longevity of his career, like you know,
Oh,
it's
reliable, man.
just yeah,
I'm gonna
just
take it. Go ahead, Jeff.
I mean, it's basically like the Larry Fitzgerald of wide receivers. You know, just consummate professional, just always day in day out animal.
Absolutely.
You know,
100%.
I think Gronk had a great career. I do think that there were a lot of shortcomings, like Koo said, due to his injury issues. And you can't deny his success, but you also have to take into consideration you also played for possibly the greatest dynasty that this league has seen. Uh, but don't get me wrong, has the all-time record for touchdown receptions by a tight end in a single season. Just a lot of things that jump out at you that show his versatility as a player, but greatest of all time, like obviously Tony Gonzalez goes number one, and I agree with Dre. I would say that he's top three. I would even go as far as to say Antonio Gates. I would put him at two because it's like that's another guy. He withstood the test of time. He ate
still,
shit for years in San Diego and was still a constant professional.
I
Showed
think
up,
he's
did
still
his
even
job.
playing.
he
Yeah.
got drafted with Jason Witten and outlasted Gronk.
Oh man.
Like
See, so it's just crazy, but as a person and as like a teammate, I would have loved to have Gronk on my team just because
For
he
sure.
embodies everything that's fun about football. He enjoyed it. He had a great run, lived his life, never got arrested, never got in trouble off the field.
no
Had like
suspensions.
no suspensions, never really was a contributing factor to the demise of whatever bad season the Patriots have if they didn't win the Super Bowl that year. So great all around. He might be, in my opinion, the second greatest Patriot if you want to go that far, because obviously Tom's number one. But best tight end of all time, I'm gonna give that to Tony, and I'm gonna put Antonio Gates right behind him.
For sure. I agree with that.
that's pretty solid. As much as I hate to say this, as much as I hate this person's name I'm about to speak, I have. You probably know where I'm going, but he's at least top 10. I have to say Jason Witten is up there. As much as I hate Jason Witten, he,
I would
he
put
He's
two.
top 10, yeah.
I
he's
would.
definitely top 10. Um, there's other people. I mean, you can't forget about like Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp's got to be a top 10, top 5 receiver. Kellen Winslow Sr. Even though we never saw him play, but I mean, these are all people I know you could probably debate like all day about the subject. I mean, I got Tony G number one. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't even recall who his quarterback was of the Chiefs. I think it was like Trent Green, I guess. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was Trent Green.
I think it was Trent Green, and then it might have been like a couple different quarterbacks. I mean,
I
again, like that's
mean,
the thing is like it's the consistency that Gronk had with Tom Brady his whole career. Like, like you said, if he stayed healthy, he probably would be number one. But he probably would also be playing longer, in my opinion, because I feel like he's also retiring. I feel like he's done with the NFL and he wants other things to do in life. But I think also because he just wants to have his body while he can still, walk and move and function.
He
You know,
definitely is getting beat
Um,
up
I,
a
I,
lot of his
I,
career.
I personally think he's
smart.
retiring to go into the WWE with his homeboy Mojo Rawley. But we'll leave that conversation up to the wrestling guys.
So I like being one of
No,
them.
but I will say this though. I do think if you say if you're not looking at the overall legacy, if you're looking at one game, who would you rather? What tight end would you rather have?
At his
And
healthiest?
at his healthiest,
Gronk.
100%
Yeah.
healthiest,
I mean,
at
I'm
yeah.
his
taking. I'm taking
ceiling,
Gronk.
I would take Gronk.
Jeremy
Like,
Shock.
Oh, all
Jeremy
right.
Shockey.
My
yeah,
guy. My
that's
guy.
that's
Hell
another
yeah.
good one. I would take. I would
Hey.
take either one of those.
Uh,
Great
my
answer.
guy.
Great answer.
Oh man, actually we're tripping. I don't even know if Gronk goes in my he might be 5 for me, honestly.
Oh,
I'm gonna go Tony, Antonio Gates, Mike Ditka, and Ozzie Newsome, man. Like are we really gonna put Gronk above them? These are legends. These
I
are
Yeah,
mean,
you're right.
but I mean, is Gronk not a legend now?
I mean he will be,
Grunk's,
don't get me wrong. He's
Grunk,
gonna be a Hall of Famer, but
yeah.
we gotta think
I don't.
about what they changed for the game. Dick
It,
did it on the field and he did it as a coach.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Again, I have Tony Weasel up there too. You know, he, he's another one, another legend of the game. Now, it's something different story. He had amazing potential and
Never panned
completely
out.
never panned out. Never panned out. I feel like that's a lot of. I feel like that's a lot of players that come after like a legendary, father or something like that. Like, if I was Michael Jordan's son, I'd never play basketball. You
Oh
can't,
man.
you can't win that situation. Like,
Literally cannot fit those shoes.
no, no, you can't. Like, it's like, aren't you Michael Jordan's son? Yeah. Why do you play basketball? Really? Like,
Because I'm Michael Jordan's son.
like, one, I don't have to. Two, there was no chance of me being as good as him. Like, I'm 20, he's 50, he still busts my ass. Like, it's not happening. Like,
I played tennis.
yeah, like, in our gated community,
Yo.
I play tennis. Like, I ain't gonna be a real estate broker. I'll do something else in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to do that. Like, I understand you're physically gifted. I don't even know. I really don't know what happened to them anyway. I know one had some type of draft stock. Like, he was like a 4-year senior at like Vanderbilt or something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. To me, I feel like it's just hard. What was interesting to me was like when you have a sibling. That's interesting to me. Like Shannon and Sterling. I think that's more interesting than anything. Like the Watt family. When you got like
Yeah.
TJ and Derek and JJ Watt. Like,
Or the Bosa brothers coming in.
Or the Jones
yeah,
family, where everybody plays football except for John Jones. He's kicking ass in the cages.
Or like the Long family,
Yeah.
Chris Long, Kyle Long.
where
the Moss family.
Yeah,
They're
there's
not
a lot.
siblings, but it's definitely
I
Their
mean,
family.
but I mean, athletics is hereditary because even like T Mac and Vince Carter, his
oh
cousin.
yeah,
crazy,
cousin.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's some crazy family genes to say that much.
yeah, I wish.
Yeah,
I wish. Like,
My thing is like, if I'm TJ or JJ Watt, like I'm making fun of Derek. Like, you were athletic enough to play defense, you have to be a fullback, really? Like, come on,
this is like
like come on, bro. Like,
somebody played it. See,
Yeah,
shit.
safe position.
Like,
You don't
let
man.
even
me.
run fullbacks
I,
in our system. Like, come on, man. Like, dang,
I mean, I
you're
can put on a
a
couple pounds and be a fullback right now.
yeah, like, word up. We're harder than you, shoot. Like,
Like, oh yeah,
like,
why don't you go be a long snapper?
it's like the Long families. Like, if you're Chris Long, look at Kyle and like, really, you're gonna block me? Like, come on, dude. Like, come on. I played D and I've won rings. What have you done, Kyle? Come on, come on, dude.
I'm sure that's a talk at family reunions.
Oh my god.
Oh man,
And how he slaps his rings on the table, and you're like, all right, Dad, relax.
I mean, and then let's not forget, obviously, the greatest family in NFL, the Manning family.
the Manning family, the royalty, right?
You know what I'm saying? You can't sit with us.
Like,
I mean, let's be honest here. Like, let's be honest. Their dad sucks. Aren't you
But that's the thing.
yeah,
The the marginal ones make the best kids. that's
Like, yo,
that's how it
so
goes. Del
hold on.
Curry was okay.
So what you're telling me is Ryan Fitzpatrick's kid, one of his kids, is gonna become a superstar quarterback.
Oh
oh,
my
hold on,
God.
wait a minute.
No,
Let's not act
no.
like.
I'm not saying that. I'm
Wait,
saying that his quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick's son, is going to get paid. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Because Ryan Fitzpatrick got paid. Like, who
I,
robbed?
Yeah,
What was the
he's
biggest robbery? Ryan Fitzpatrick or Sam Bradford? Like,
Kirk
you know,
Cousins.
definitely. Well, no,
oh,
no.
Kirk
Cousins
Cousins.
played all the games.
what?
Sam Bradford got a 1 year contract, 20 mil guaranteed out for the season after game 3. That's the biggest finesse of all time. The
must be
fact that somebody even gave him 20 million guaranteed, knowing his track record for injuries, like
You
yo,
asked for it. You knew what was gonna happen.
that man's like the greatest
so,
finesse in like all time.
Oh man.
so if somebody gave me 20 mil and then like gave me surgery and cut my ACL, I would do it. Like,
Oh,
Straight up.
are you kidding me? I wouldn't even let you know I was hurt. I'd be like, yeah,
yeah,
I just ran 10 miles right now. I could do anything.
punch hammer to the knee. Let's do it. Like, that's it. Just give me a ride to the
Easily.
hospital after. That's it. Give me $20 million to do nothing.
No,
Come
no,
on.
no. Not just
Dude,
give you a ride to the hospital. They're
$20
going to
million
come with
dollars,
the best
$20 million
doctors
dollars,
possible
$20 million
for
dollars.
it.
I'll run sprints on the torn ACO.
Yeah. Oh man,
I
like
mean,
that's
I don't think I would, but if I saw it in front of me, probably.
I mean that could definitely. I like that as a conversation for the next show too. Shoot, like you look up some of the biggest fleeces as
Please,
far as
please.
Sam Bradford is definitely sitting in the throne.
Yeah, you know what we should do? We need to make a bracket, like a March Madness bracket of all the
Yeah.
biggest fleeces and
Sam
have them
Bradford is
battle each
what
other.
number one seed right
Kirk
now.
Cousins is a number
Ryan,
one seed. That's my number
Kirk
one
Cousins
seed.
is number one seed.
Yeah, you can have
We'll have
four
to.
number one seeds.
I'm sorry. I gotta. Oh, if you have 4 number 1s, he's okay. I can let him rock. Otherwise, I'll say he's definitely not ahead of Sam Bradford.
Oh yeah, no, not
Yeah.
ahead, but
gotta have
definitely
no.
in his division, he's definitely a one seed.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
you got. I think Mike Glenn's got to be like a number 2 or 3 seed too. He's
Oh
got
my
million.
god.
No, for real. My
He's
guy
got.
got paid. What did he get? Like 45 mil guaranteed or something like that. Didn't even start a game.
Yo,
Yo,
why?
wow, wow.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. I think we gotta do that next time because I
For
think what we
sure.
Yeah,
got.
man.
I think what we gonna do as far as how many teams you want per region. I want to do this now.
We
Yeah,
could do. I mean, it doesn't have to be
we'll
anything
discuss it.
crazy.
We'll
Yeah.
discuss
Yeah,
it definitely.
we're gonna do that. All right. So
We all gonna just have to throw up nominations, and then we'll find out
W-
exactly how many
yeah,
teams, how many.
I,
Honestly, if we could do it on like a smaller scale, we could do like a 16 team bracket and just have it break down because then to 8 to 4 to 2 until finally there's one. Because I don't know if we could find 64 fleeces in NFL history.
well,
Yeah, I'm sure we could, but
They're
you
We
there,
know,
probably
but
could. We
they're
probably
there,
could.
but I don't got that kind of dedication.
yeah,
like
we'll have to like include Brett Favre.
we'll do 16 then. We'll do 8 and 8, and we'll go down from there. Then.
Word.
I don't know
Yeah.
because we got too many one seeds though.
No,
Like
because what you
Well,
do is if we
if
do
it's
We'll
eight and
see.
eight,
16,
if it's
you
eight and
do
eight,
like
now we have 2 number 1 teams, and then you go down from there.
what I was thinking was if you do 16, you got 4, 4, 4, and 4,
like
and then it just breaks down.
Oh, we're having 1 through 4.
Yeah, and have 1 through 4, 4 different divisions. I mean, we could definitely talk about it. We'll work out
Yeah. Work out the specifics.
all right, it works for me. We'll do some research, do some nominations, get this going for next show.
for sure.
I like it. We can do that. All right. I mean, real quick with you before we end, you guys got anything like any type of hot take you want to do or anything, or anything you want to go off on about real quick? Anybody?
Um, I will just say this much. I am not a believer in um Who's the Raiders? A whole.
Gruden.
Yeah, I'm not a believer in Gruden. He got Mayock on his squad, and so no more mock drafts for that guy.
That sucks.
Um,
I
like,
love that guy.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like Mike Mayock too, but I just don't believe that. I just don't believe in them, and we'll see what they got going on. You know how I feel about uh, star elite receivers, and I don't like. I just don't believe in them. Like I keep seeing so many mock drafts of them trading up and taking Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Well,
And
actually, there was a, not to cut you off. There was a Bleacher Report little notification. Somebody tweeted at Matt Miller,
mhm.
the guy who always drops like the mock drafts and everything. And somebody said, "I'm seeing a lot of reports that the Raiders are going to trade up and try and draft Kyler." And he was like, "Don't read into it. Kyler's going number one." So I don't know if he's true or not, but I mean, a lot of people seem pretty confident. So if that's what they're banking on, I would have a backup plan.
For sure.
I don't know, man. But yeah, way to destroy your team, Gruden. And try to like that's just like as soon as I seen the whole Khalil Mack situation, I'm like, oh my gosh, Chip Kelly all over again. Like, oh
Uh,
my
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
nightmares, huh?
I kind of want to see it through. I want to see how this ends up because he probably knows something that we don't. My man's got three first round picks in this year's draft alone, and
yeah,
this
and he
year's draft is fucking loaded with
it,
these.
it is, and he also got $100 million 10-year contract.
Oh,
So
for sure.
so yeah, we'll see. That's just my only hot take, though.
Oh man, I think the thing that I liked was what was it? The big thing I got from that whole rare situation was they traded Khalil Mack, and then the next day they interviewed Gruden, and he was like, "Man, if we only had a pass rusher."
Yo, I seen it. I'm like, yo, are you stupid? It's like good pass rushers are hard to come by in this league. Oh yeah,
You
oh
just
yeah.
traded the best one in the league.
The 2-time defensive player of the year. Are you serious? Like,
Crazy,
and then
crazy,
The Rams were doing the same, having the same issue with Aaron Donald, but they did right by him. Just pay him. You
for
know,
sure,
the
for sure.
Bears got Khalil Mack, just paid him,
And
and
paid him.
now they're on the come up. Like they're raising up. They made it to the playoffs last year. Like
And they were a field goal away from advancing.
double doink.
Crazy, Cody
Uh,
Parker, man.
oh my
And he
god,
used to be an Eagles quarterback too.
Oh man, the jig is
the
up. The fix was in. I already know.
illusion is real.
I'm sorry, like yo, he's another one that got a display in Canton.
Oh, oh,
Cody
Cody
Parkey,
Parkey.
the
oh.
kicker, in
Took off,
2014.
he took off
Wow.
that Bears jersey, had a reversible Eagles jersey under it.
Yeah, he walked off the field, winked at the camera, and said, "Hush, money."
Yeah, word up. Plan on celebrating with the Eagles staff. We won. That was
Oh
last
man.
week.
Like
Oh
Cody,
man,
what are you doing here? What's the champagne for?
Oh man.
oh man. Well, I mean, we got a lot of topics for next time. It's been a really good show. Um, I don't know what we're gonna do it again, but
soon.
no, definitely sooner than later. It's been awesome. It's been a good first inaugural show. Um, I'm looking forward to the Big Fleeces bracket. I'm definitely do some research. We gotta do a first round mock too before the draft
Yeah,
starts,
before the draft, yeah.
Facts.
so we don't have to. I mean, we could probably still do like articles and stuff like that, but this will
Definitely.
be definitely gives everybody's different perspective on which team should take what.
Mm.
That definitely would be great. Get that out there. But yeah, man. If you guys, I'm gonna put it up on YouTube, obviously. But check us out: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We have a page, SportsMark, the sportsmarkanalyst.com. Check us out on Facebook. Come follow us. Everything that you're talking about, we're talking about it. Cover every sport, and we got different podcasts coming. Uh, that's about it, man. Hope y'all enjoy it and check out the next episode. Nosebleed Section, episode 2 is coming soon, man. Y'all have a good night.
Take good.